What's up, guys? Chimp here, and I want to post a quick market update now that Bitcoin basically printed a new all-time high, and just to go over what's going on. And I think we're sort of at a interesting crossroads here because on one hand we're sort of what seems to be breaking out of this 2 month range, and that could very well be possible. On the other hand, we're seeing like a lot of local leveraging and so forth. So what's the what's going on here? What am I worried about? Uh, Look, just to be transparent, I'm short. I think that the market could go up here, could go to 115 or 120. It's possible, but I think there's also a lot of risks to this market, and I'll sort of just go over a couple of those right now. Maybe it's cope, maybe it's not, but we'll see. First of all, when you look at this move, Binance has added about 8,000 Bitcoin in open interest in the last, um, really the last like 12 hours or so. And on this specific breakout, they added about 5,000 Bitcoin. So derivative traders are getting super long. Everyone's getting long the breakout of all-time highs. I usually don't like seeing this. To date, we have not seen any, we haven't really seen open interest drop on the way up, and maybe we do, right? Like the momentum's really strong here, so maybe it keeps pushing up. But to date, like we haven't really seen much open interest come out on the way up, and my gut feeling tells me that if people were short, like a lot of them are already actually out of the market, so we're getting a lot of people longing. To show you like a case example of this, which is Aguila. Um, Holy crap, this guy just added again. He's up $9 million right now. All right, just sending a message. Um, Look, this guy's like adding again. Now his lick's like 108. Like you're getting really fucking crazy degenerate behavior going on right now. And I think this is a massive red flag. And I could be wrong. Meanwhile, like we know Treasury buying slowing down. ETF buying, like we'll see what the number is today. But I don't think that this trend, which is like plus 15 billion in flows, is very sustainable. So I think at some point this can slow down and this can reverse. Um, those are some of the things that I'm seeing. Obviously, you've had ETH pump, like that's another red flag. When ETH starts mega ripping, ETH's at close to 2,800. Uh, and by the way, like I think ETH BTC could rip. Like even if Bitcoin sort of just, I wouldn't say a bear market, but if Bitcoin struggles, I could see ETH continuing to show strength, just because it's like such a hated asset. But to me, like I'm seeing a lot of red flags here. Obviously, like there could be a liquidity pocket here for a few $1,000s to the upside on Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin could go to, like I said, just zoom out a little bit. Like Bitcoin, I wrong chart. Like if Bitcoin pops here to like high one, like close to 120, would I be totally shocked? No, but just seeing all the leveraging going on here at 112, like again, I like the other issue is like people are getting so used to these microscopic moves. And again, maybe a move to the upside sort of resets that, but I just feel like the risks here, like this to me feels a lot like this, right? Like you kind of have this downtrend, you know, it's sort of compressing. People are getting used to like buying every dip. Like you kind of have the same thing going on here besides like this SFP aberration. Like people are buying every dip, you know, everyone's using leverage to sort of break out. Like on here, like all the leverage was getting wiped, right? Like when you looked at Bitcoin at 75, like people were just getting destroyed. Like actually, um, at some point there was not even leverage to wipe because longs were all wrecked. Like you're kind of seeing the same thing here, right? Like shorts, there's not really any shorts to wreck. Like open interest is going straight up. I don't know. Like I think that realistically, and I could be wrong, and my PNL will say it one way or the other. Um, I think realistically we could go down to 90 and maybe even lower. It's hard to say. Um, Again, I could be totally wrong. We could break out. This is a new paradigm, etc. But it's times like this where I think you shouldn't get ahead of yourself. And again, what are you playing for on the upside? Like a 10% pump? Like maybe. I don't know. To me, this is like screaming caution flags. screaming like bad risk reward. And I would just caution everyone here, like, these sorts of like trends have taken a couple months. Like every time we've had a pump or a dump, like these trends have taken a couple months, which is like what happens. Like people lose patience. Like no one wants to hold a short because like, in this case, like when we pumped, like it took 96 days, right? Like, and then when we dumped, like it took another 56 days, right? Like we're talking 2-3 months at a time. Like again, then we pumped, like we had this transition period. It's been about 60 days. Like I don't know, like these sorts of animal spirits have been going on for a while now, and some could argue like, hey, it's not like crazy animal spirits, but I would disagree. Like I think that, I mean, like again, I've talked about this before. Like look at Aguila, right? Like he's a symptom, not the problem. Look at all this open interest going up. Like this is just a symptom of like a market where people don't feel like they have downside risks, and that's what markets do. Like this is what markets do every single time. Like people feel like my downside risk is limited. My like dips are being bought aggressively until like they're not, right? I've seen this time and time again. Like I'll just zoom out. Like this is like quite a while ago. Like I'll show a couple examples from 2021. Obviously, I can show examples from basically every year. Like you had the same sort of behavior going on at the first top in 2021. Like people thought like buying 50K was a great idea, and then like you had the exact reverse, right? Like people thought shorting like 36K, 33K, like 38K, like everyone thought this was a good idea because you had this like compression, right? You have compression that happens, and then the compression breaks. You have this chart's like looks horrendous. Let me reset it. You have compression that happens, and then compression breaks, right? Like compression that happens, and then it breaks. And again, like I think you're seeing the same thing here. Like you have compression that's happening, right? Compression, and at some point it's going to crack. And I'm short like pretty big size, to be honest. I don't want to share my exact like notional. It's yeah, I won't say specifics, but if Bitcoin goes to 115 or 120, I'm not at risk of getting liquidated because, and maybe I get out, right? But I'm not on high leverage. I'm on very low leverage, actually. So I don't know. I see a lot of red flags here. When everyone's screaming at the top of their lungs that we're going to go up, like that's the time you want to be cautious, right? This to me, and again, could be total cope. It's like buying the new lows at 75 or 76 or whatever. Like at the time when there's max fear, like actually there's the best opportunity. And at the time when like you see the crazy ass leveraging going on and like, yeah, we're printing a new high, like, that's probably the time that you should consider selling or getting short. Like, so anyways, we'll see what happens. I'm short in size, things work out. Maybe I'll, you share your size if you win, and you ignore it if you lose, right? That's what they say. So anyways, we'll see what happens. But until next time, take care, guys. If the market makes another big move, obviously I'll record another update.